Sup boys? So today I wanted to talk to you all about the release date of Naxxramas. I didn't even know I was making this video until maybe a few hours ago whenever Blizzard put out the news. And I'm not making this video for the health of Classic, I'm not making this video for the health of retail, I am making this video for the health of Warcraft as a whole. So please understand that, and it doesn't matter if you're a Classic fan, a retail fan, I look at it as we're all in this together, and this is one large community, and I think the release date stands to take something away from that. And I want to explain why. So right now we have the Shadowlands expansion scheduled to be released on November 23rd or 24th. I forgot which one. And less than 2 weeks after that, we have on December 1st, the patch for Naxxramas is going to be coming out. And then on the 3rd of December, we're going to be having Naxxramas release. So that's less than 2 weeks after Shadowlands gets released as an entire expansion. And also, to make matters even worse, we have the raid Castle Nathria, which is the first raid for Shadowlands. It's getting released on December 8th. So that means only 5 days after Naxxramas comes out, they are releasing another raid on top of that inside of Shadowlands. Now, the reason I think this is such a huge problem is that there are a lot of I can't even say the reason, because there's like 3 or 4. But the first thing that I want to talk about is preserving hype and preserving people's excitement about a game. And I think this is something that, especially nowadays, becomes even more evident as a deciding factor as to whether a game is successful or not and how healthy it is. So, for example, I think that we're going to have Shadowlands come out. Everybody's going to be incredibly excited about Shadowlands. This is a huge full expansion, and if Naxxramas is released in the middle of Shadowlands and the raid for Shadowlands, I'm worried that the excitement is going to be buried in a way that it shouldn't be. Naxxramas is, for many people, the reason why a lot of them started playing Classic, because it was the final raid. It was the one raid that you could never go back and do again because it was removed back in Wrath of the Lich King. So this was the one thing, the holy grail of difficulty in Classic WoW, and even if not difficulty, it had the mystique of being this mysterious, hard, very difficult raid. And of course, maybe it won't be as hard as it was back then, but it's still going to be a challenge for a lot of people, and I think that it's something that people have been looking forward to for a long time. But the concern that I have is that whenever Shadowlands is out, people are going to be excited about Shadowlands, and they're not going to think as much about Naxxramas. And vice versa, if there are going to be people that are really excited about Classic, they're going to be less excited about the Shadowlands. I always thought that the best decision that Blizzard could make in terms of releasing Classic content and retail content is to kind of have them leapfrog over each other. So, for example, if they release, let's say, BFA, and then they release Classic WoW, and then they release, 8.1, and then the first raid in Classic WoW, or BWL in Classic WoW, and then 8.2, and then, like the next raid. And so, basically, the Classic patches and the Classic updates would happen in the lull periods between the main content patches in the retail game. And this is what I was hoping for, and this is what I think a lot of us were kind of expecting. So to see this release date happening right in the middle of the Shadowlands release content release schedule, it seems like a huge mistake. And again, the reason why I think that it is also is that Naxxramas, like Classic, is kind of a unique situation because it's an MMO, and you know the way that it ends. You know that Naxxramas is the end of the game. That's it. It seems very unlikely that they're going to do Classic Plus content. It seems much more likely that they'll do TBC, excuse me. But what I think seems very likely is that a lot of people, after they clear Naxxramas, will perceive the game to be over. They'll perceive the game to be done. And I worry that if you have people leave Classic WoW and they finish doing Naxxramas, and you have them looking forward to doing Castle Nathria or something like that, or going back over to the Shadowlands because that's a new expansion and they're still excited about that as well, they're not going to really make their way back over to Classic and continue playing the game. Now, what I'm advocating for, and what I hope Blizzard does, is that I would really like to see an early January release of Naxxramas, because I think that would give enough time for the Shadowlands content to kind of run its course, and for people to at least kind of sate their excitement of the expansion. They will have already looked at all of the dungeons, they will have already done all of the raids. at least in probably one or two difficulties, and maybe they're still going to be progressing under raids with their guild, but for the most part, at about a month after Shadowlands, over a month after Shadowlands has been released, most people are going to put the expansion on maintenance mode, and they'll be looking forward to the next new thing. And why can't that next new thing be Naxxramas? I think that a lot of people who are on Team Classic or Team Retail, you've got Classic Andes and Retail Randys, these people always forget the fact that there are many of us out there who like and enjoy playing both games. I know for me personally, in my Classic guild, there are a lot of my friends in that guild who are really looking forward to Shadowlands. They can't wait to play the game. And I don't really see the purpose, and I don't see the benefit to making them choose. Why make them choose between getting excited over one game or another? Why not spread out that excitement that people are going to have for the game and make people excited for retail and then make people excited for classic, rather than trying to make your own two hype periods compete with each other? Which is what I feel like this is such a weird decision, because Blizzard actually does this to other games. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but if you look at a lot of the other large content releases for other MMOs, you'll see that Blizzard usually times their content releases at the exact same time. I'm sorry, but I don't think that that's a coincidence. I think they do that because they know that players will have to choose between one game or another, and then many of the people who are more heavily invested in WoW will always choose WoW, and it's a way for Blizzard to preserve their top spot as the best MMO. It's all the little things that they do, and the funny thing about this is that they're doing this now to their own game. And the reason why I consider this also a problem is that I look at the sub fee. You're paying $15 a month to play World of Warcraft, and the value of the game is derived by how excited you are to play it. So I think that the value and the excitement of Classic WoW is going to diminish substantially after Naxxramas is released and after people play it. So what is the point of releasing Naxxramas very early on in the absolute middle, the most hype period in between Shadowlands release and the raid release? The raid is not even out yet. Everybody's there, everybody's playing the game, everybody's excited. And why release Classic WoW in the middle of that and make players choose in the exact same way that you do against your own competition? Classic WoW should not be Retail WoW's competition. These games should have a symbiotic relationship with each other, and I think that honestly, up until now, Blizzard's done a pretty good job with that. And I'd hate to see them just ruin their record by trying to stick with probably some schedule that they had back before they delayed the expansion in the first place with Shadowlands, because it was originally going to come out on October 26th or 27th, I forgot which one. But now, since it's got moved up, I think they should also move up the Naxxramas date based off of players' excitement about Naxxramas and people's excitement about Shadowlands as well. And here's another point that I want to bring up, is the fact that not all servers unlock the AQ gates the first 2 or 3 weeks. Many of these servers, it took them months to unlock the AQ gates. That's why Blizzard back in Vanilla WoW implemented the automatic catch-up so players would be able to unlock the gates on their own. So there are many of these servers that have only had maybe 2 or 3 months of AQ, and many of the guilds that haven't really fully run their course through AQ in the same way that they did through BWL and through MC. So I know that it's obviously, based off of the fact that the most populated servers or have the most people, you're going to hear a lot of people saying that AQ has been out for quite a while, but there are actually many servers out there that AQ hasn't been out for all that long. And because of that, I think, again, that the delay should definitely happen. And the main reason, I think, that I want to go back to this, and I want to focus on this, is that the main reason is the excitement about the game. Why compromise your own hype? Why second guess your own hype? Why do that? It makes literally no sense. It's like they're sabotaging themselves. And especially whenever, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what people play for Blizzard. If people are playing Classic more, that's great, because it's another reason to keep them subscribed. It doesn't fucking matter if you play Classic or Retail. Blizzard's getting your $15 anyway. Yeah, I guess maybe you can't buy microtransactions in Classic, but at the end of the day, no matter what you're playing, Blizzard's still getting their fucking money. So there's no reason for Blizzard to go and release Naxxramas in the middle of Shadowlands, almost like they're trying to hide it. Okay, sorry, somebody with a small dick driving around. And so anyway, what is the point of that? Why would they do? I don't understand this. Here's what I think that it is. I think that it's that Blizzard has this date set in stone, and regardless of the Shadowlands release, they were going to release Naxxramas on this date. And that, in my opinion, is stupid. Because it's not contextual, it's not circumstantial. This is just a decision that was made in a vacuum without the actual context of how people feel and what else is going on around it. So again, I really hope that Blizzard reconsiders this decision. I think this is what happened really at the beginning, right going into TBC the first time, is that people saw that Naxxramas was just kind of, the gear wasn't really that great or whatever, and compared to the TBC gear, I mean, and many people, many guilds decided or opted to, you know what, we're not going to clear Nax, it's too much work. I hate to see people make that same decision right now with playing Classic instead of playing Retail. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who might log over and the Classic hype will just die. And I'd hate to see that happen. I love Classic WoW. I play it, I raid every single week, basically. And I'd hate to see Blizzard just kind of throw away this great thing that they've done and compromise it in a way that's completely unnecessary. So I hope that Blizzard can see kind of where I'm coming from, and I hope they can see where a lot of other people are coming from, and they can release the game, release Naxxramas, hopefully maybe in like early January. I think that'd be great. That would give people, again, plenty of time to play Shadowlands, plenty of time to do the raid. There will, of course, be people that are still doing the raid whenever Naxxramas comes out, but it won't be right in the middle of Shadowlands hype. It just seems so counterproductive and such a mistake. People are already going to be playing the expansion, Blizzard. Why bring out Classic? For so many people, the day that Naxxramas comes out and the day that they kill Kel'Thuzad is the day that they stop playing Classic and they start waiting for TBC. Hold off a little bit longer, give people something to look forward to, tide them over with Shadowlands. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, you know what, I'm never going to play Shadowlands, I'm a Classic Andy all the way through. And that's fine. Just keep clearing AQ for another month, and then you'll have Nax come out, and you'll be able to raid it with even more people, because there'll be all those people that come from Shadowlands that want to play Classic as well. Again, I think there's a lot of people who play both games, and there's not just Classic Andys and Retail Randys, there are WoW players. I am a WoW player. I love playing Classic, I love playing Retail, and I don't want to choose. So Blizzard, please try and make the right decision, delay the Nax release a little bit, and I think that the game will be better off because of it. So anyway, guys, I wanted to make this video because I think it's a really important issue, and it's important to the health of the game. So let me know what you think, tell me what you think, and I'll be reading the comments, and I'll be talking about this probably for the next week or two on my stream as well, because I think it's very important. So until next time, boys, peace.